The hallway smelled like old bleach and damp floor mats. It was the kind of scent that stayed even when the floors looked clean. Students rushed by without so much as a glance at the man pushing the mop. He moved slowly, methodically, with a slight limp in his left leg and a heavy silence that made him almost invisible. His name was Mr. Caleb, but everyone just called him Old Man Mop. Caleb had been the janitor at Brookstone High for 5 years. He never spoke more than a few words to anyone, and he always kept his eyes down. His graying beard and lined face made him look older than he probably was. Rumor had it he slept in the boiler room, and some swore they'd never seen him eat. No one knew much else, and honestly, no one cared. Except for a group of boys who made it their daily routine to mess with him. They were seniors, tall, loud, with rich parents and nothing to fear. Tyler, the ringleader, was the kind of guy who could insult a teacher and walk away with a grin. With him were Braden, Lucas, and Marcus, all muscle, all attitude. Every morning, when Caleb wheeled out his mop bucket, the boys found a new way to entertain themselves. "Hey, mop man," Tyler would call out. "Missed a spot. Maybe if you weren't 100 years old, you'd get it right." Sometimes they'd spill drinks just to watch him clean. Other times, they'd knock over his bucket by accident and laugh as dirty water soaked his boots. But Caleb never said a word, not once. He'd just look up, nod faintly, and keep mopping. Teachers noticed, but nobody stepped in. After all, it was just harmless teasing. What could an old janitor do, anyway? One Friday afternoon, as school emptied out and rain pounded the windows, Caleb stayed behind wiping graffiti from a locker door. The same 4 boys hung back too, laughing, roughhousing, throwing paper at each other like children. "Yo, let's give the old man a gift," Braden said, pulling out a used pair of sneakers from his gym bag. "Think these'll fit his wart-covered feet?" He tossed them at Caleb, who caught them without looking. For a second, just a second, something flashed in Caleb's eyes. Not anger, not pain. Something sharper, like calculation. Tyler stepped closer, smirking. "What's the matter, Grandpa? Cat got your tongue? Or do you only know how to talk to trash cans?" Still no response. "You ever do anything useful in your whole life?" Tyler asked, leaning in. "Or have you always just been a bottom feeder, cleaning up after people who actually matter?" Lucas and Marcus cracked up, but Caleb stayed quiet, wiping the locker door until it shined. Then Tyler, annoyed at being ignored, grabbed the mop from Caleb's hands. "You don't mind if I borrow this, do you?" he said, swinging it like a baseball bat. In one fluid motion, Caleb reached forward, grabbed the mop, twisted it, and suddenly Tyler was on the floor. Not hard, not hurt, just flat on his back, shocked. The other boys stepped forward, but Caleb didn't move. He looked down at Tyler, calm as ever. "You okay?" Caleb asked, voice low and even. Tyler scrambled to his feet, face red. "You touch me, old man?" Braden stepped forward, puffing out his chest. "You think you're tough now?" "Not tough," Caleb said simply. "Just tired of mopping after you." That's when Principal Donner walked in, umbrella dripping in one hand, briefcase in the other. He paused, looking at the group. "Everything all right here?" The boys froze, but Caleb just nodded. "All good, sir. Just a little spill. I've got it." Donner looked at the boys, who were suddenly silent. "You boys heading out? Roads are flooding already." They nodded quickly and disappeared down the hall. As Donner walked away, he turned back briefly. "You ever need anything, Caleb, just let me know." Caleb nodded again and returned to his work. But as he cleaned, he didn't hum like he usually did. He looked toward the exit, where the boys had vanished, and a flicker of something darker settled in his expression, because those boys had no idea who they were really messing with, and the past Caleb thought he'd buried was stirring again. Saturday morning came gray and quiet. Caleb sat in his small apartment above the school gym, where no one ever came. It wasn't exactly legal housing, but the school didn't ask questions, and he didn't offer answers. A bed, a kettle, a single picture frame on the wall. It was enough. The picture showed a younger version of him, standing in desert heat, surrounded by men in black tactical gear. Most of their faces were blurred. His wasn't. His badge read, LT, Caleb R. Hayes Recon Unit 7. He hadn't looked at the photo in months. He took a sip of coffee, wincing at the pain in his leg. Old injury shrapnel, Baghdad, should have killed him. Didn't. Now it just reminded him to walk slower. He glanced at the mop leaning in the corner. Tyler's face when he hit the floor still played in his mind. The kid had no idea how gentle that takedown was. Caleb could have broken his wrist without blinking. He didn't, but maybe he should have. Later that day, Tyler and his friends met at Braden's house, still buzzing with rage. I swear, Tyler spat. That freak flipped me like I weighed nothing. Did you see that? Braden scoffed. He's just some creepy old dude. Probably has to be a wrestler in the 50s or something. Nah, Marcus said, pulling up a shaky phone video he had recorded. Watch this. They replayed the clip, Caleb twisting the mop, Tyler falling like a sack of bricks. It looked too smooth, too practiced. Lucas frowned. You sure he's just a janitor? Who cares what he is? Tyler snapped. He's done. Monday, we make sure of it. Back at the school, Caleb was reviewing blueprints. Not for the building. Those were memorized long ago. These were old layouts, training programs, classified documents he wasn't supposed to have anymore. His mind had started working again. Sharpening, watching patterns. The boys' schedule, where they hung out, what time they slipped out of class, what lockers they used, who they cheated off, all of it. He had tried to stay invisible. He'd worked hard at it. But disrespect had a way of crawling under his skin. Monday morning came, and the boys arrived with smirks and a plan. Tyler walked through the doors with a water balloon tucked under his jacket and a small pouch of itching powder hidden in his bag. Operation Grandpa Breakdown, he whispered to the others. Let's humiliate him. Make him quit. They waited until the second period when Caleb was alone in the back hallway. Tyler crept up, water balloon in hand, when suddenly a fire alarm blared overhead. Red lights flashed, sprinklers hissed. Chaos erupted as students flooded into the hallway. But Caleb stood in place, bone still. The fire drill had been planned by him. As students evacuated, Caleb slipped away and found Tyler's locker already pried open. He placed something inside and locked it again, then disappeared back into the hallway unnoticed. Years of evasion and entry drills didn't just vanish with retirement. When the crowd settled, Tyler returned to his locker only to find a note taped inside, just a white scrap of paper with words printed in clean, bold type. Your plan failed. I see you. Test me again, and I won't be gentle. Tyler's face went pale. The others tried to laugh it off, but he was shaken. He knows, he whispered. He's watching us. What are you talking about? Braden asked. I didn't tell anyone the plan. No one. That note, it's like he read my head. They went quiet. Lucas, trying to ease the tension, said, Man, maybe he's like ex-military or something. Old soldier with PhD, SSHD, crazy types. But Marcus wasn't laughing. What if he's more than that? The way he moved, that wasn't normal. Tyler swallowed hard. I don't know who he is, but he's not just a janitor. That night, Caleb sat in his room, radio playing faintly beside him. He'd contacted no one from his past, made no noise for years. But now, part of him felt alive again. The part he had buried deep after retirement. The part that remembered things most men never survived to forget. He opened a locked drawer and pulled out an old satellite phone. Then paused. Not yet. This was still just kids being stupid. But if they pushed again, really pushed, he'd have to show them the kind of man they were playing with. The kind of man who used to make war disappear into shadows. By Tuesday morning, the tension in the school hallways had changed. It wasn't just in the boys' heads anymore, other students noticed it too. They'd seen the video. Tyler being taken down in a blink. Whispers started spreading. Did you hear what happened with the janitor? I heard he used to be CHIHA. No man, it's black ops. Like, deep black. Caleb, as always, said nothing. He cleaned, swept, emptied bins, and kept to himself. But now students gave him space. Teachers nodded a little more respectfully. The change was subtle. But for those who noticed, It felt like something ancient had stirred. Tyler couldn't take it. He hated the fear that had crept into his chest. His pride was cracking under the weight of it. So during lunch, he did something reckless. He pulled the fire alarm again. No drill this time. Chaos broke loose. And while students flooded out again, Tyler and Braden ran to the janitor's closet with a plan to trash everything: buckets, equipment, whatever they could get their hands on. But when they kicked the door open, it wasn't what they expected. There was no mop bucket, no cleaning rags. Instead, they found a locked metal chest, strange maps pinned to the wall, and an old corkboard filled with newspaper clippings: bombings, assassinations, covert missions across the Middle East, Africa, Eastern Europe. Every article had something redacted. Caleb's name never appeared, but one phrase kept repeating: unknown operative confirmed mission success. Braden's voice cracked. What is this? Before Tyler could answer, the door shut behind them. They turned to find Caleb standing in the doorway, calm, silent. I tried to be patient, he said, voice lower than ever. Tried to let it slide. But you boys just couldn't stop. Tyler stumbled back. Why, you've been spying on us, on me. No, Caleb said. I've been waiting, watching, trying to forget the man I used to be. He stepped forward just once, and it was enough to make both boys flinch. I spent 20 years going into enemy lines, getting men out of places they weren't supposed to be. I've interrogated cartel bosses, dismantled terror networks, vanished without leaving a single footprint. He took another step. But somehow, the most annoying job I've had is cleaning up after entitled brats who think fear makes them powerful. Tyler's lip quivered. You're threatening students? No, Caleb said coldly. I'm warning predators. He held up his phone and showed them a screen. A live feed. Their prank, the breaking and entering, even the stolen goods they'd taken earlier that semester. It was all recorded. Police see this, Caleb said. You're out of school. Probably worse. Braden tried to speak, but Caleb cut him off. But I'm not turning it in. Not yet. He stepped aside, holding the door open. You've got a choice. Clean this school with me after hours every day for the next 2 months, without complaint. No more mocking. No more bullying. Or I press send. Tyler looked at the screen, at the evidence, at Caleb. What are you? He finally whispered. Caleb gave a faint smile. A ghost who tried to retire. That night, as the school emptied and the sun sank behind the trees, Tyler and Braden scrubbed toilets in silence. Caleb stood nearby, giving short instructions, his voice calm, measured. Not cruel, but in control. From that day on, the bullying stopped. The other boys, Lucas and Marcus, backed off without a word. The word got around. And for the first time in years, Caleb noticed something strange in the way students looked at him. Respect. He didn't want it, didn't ask for it. But maybe, just maybe, it was enough to quiet the ghosts a little longer. He went back to his quiet life. Still mopped the floors. Still limped down the halls like nothing had changed. But whenever a teacher or student passed and said, "Good morning, Mr. Caleb," they meant it. And they never spilled another drink on his floor again.